Hello, hello, hello. It's Friday. I've got my Friday fun shirt on, and I've got my co-pilot, Liam, just because everybody wanted to say hello to him. So say hi, Liam. I'm going to put you back in your chair. So say hi, everybody. Hi. I know, he's way cuter than I am, but I think at least at this point, I still know more about him than networking, although I don't know if he agrees with me. He thinks he knows it all. All right, I'm going to put you in your chair, and maybe mom will go grab you. All right. Wow. We're at the end of week 2 of physical distancing. I'm trying to get that to catch on instead of social distancing. Good morning, Jennifer. Holy cow. I can see comments. How did that happen? Hey, Adam, what's up? This is brand new. Cool. So I'll actually be able to see your comments as we're going through this today. I'm pretty fired up about that. So thank you to everybody for stopping by, and hope you are having a good Friday. Maybe go put on a fun shirt just to break up the monotony of the same four walls. And thank you to everybody for joining us throughout this week on these LinkedIn Live sessions, talking about how to really leverage online networking using some of the technology tools that we have available to us right now to continue to build our relationships professionally, to start new ones and to cultivate the existing ones we have. Just a quick plug for next week. I will continue to do LinkedIn Lives throughout next week. I think they're going to continue to be at 11:30, depending on scheduling. And yes, we are all becoming more savvy out of LinkedIn Live. I still got a lot to learn. But what I do think I'm going to be talking about next week is really LinkedIn. So we talked a lot about how to use like Zoom and how to have one-on-one calls this week. Next week, I'm going to really focus on LinkedIn posting. And it is going to have very much a sales and marketing perspective, really talking about how to become a sales Sherpa for your prospects and clients. So if you are a small business owner, if you're a salesperson, an entrepreneur, somebody who's trying to influence people, you'll definitely want to check those out, because I'm going to go through throughout the week all the tips and tricks I have for creating, curating, sharing content, and engaging with your prospective clients and your existing clients as well. Hey, Marcel, what's up? Good to have you here. So anyways, today I want to talk about two final things, kind of wrap up our conversations this week about online networking. Two ideas that you can take forward from now and put into your kind of networking schedule or kind of your plan of attack. And I referenced this in a post that I shared earlier today, that the best time to start your network is 10 years ago. The second best time is today. And that's a play off of an old, I think it was a Chinese or some old adage where, the best time to plant a tree is a generation ago. The second best time is today. And the why I think this is so important is that too often people go to networking as a solution for their business challenges, to find a job, to find clients, to find a partner, to find information. They go to it out of a sense of desperation versus being proactive and setting up those relationships and cultivating those relationships early. So hopefully you have been cultivating your network, for years. If not, again, start today. And I think there's two things I want to touch on, as I said, around this concept. The first is that networking is not transactional. It is relational. And relationships take time. They take shared attention, shared time, shared conversations. So right now, the idea of building your network using online tools like having Zoom conversations with people works really well if you do it again. Meaning, don't just have this conversation with somebody now. Make sure that you have a plan, either one that you've shared with them or just in your own mind that, hey, I'm going to reach back out to them, whether it's in a month, 2 months, 3 months, depends on the person. There's people that I have in my network that we get together about once every 5 to 6 months, so like twice a year. And that's enough. I enjoy those conversations. I get to find out what's going on in their business world. They do the same for me and find out what's going on in my world. Sometimes we just share some really good information. Sometimes there's places we can work together. But again, it doesn't have to be monthly or bi-weekly that you see a person, but maintaining that contact over time is really, really important. Yesterday, when I was talking about the structure of a good one-on-one networking conversation, the last step was the next step, like mapping something out. And I referenced the idea of taking notes. And so one of the suggestions I'm going to give for you right now to maximize this time right now is that you have some sort of CRM or structured process that you use to take some notes after you've met with somebody, and then to have a reminder that you should continue to follow up with them. For almost, over a decade now, I think, probably more than that, I've used my Outlook. I'm old school. I just would use Outlook, and the little tasks, the little reminders. I quite literally have people who have had an ongoing task in my Outlook for almost a decade. And, I would take a little note when I met with them. Hey, just had a coffee with Jim. We talked about this and that. A sentence, very quick. And then I would pen it out another 3 months, 4 months, whenever I thought it was a good time to get back in touch with them. That would pop up. I'd say, hey, so-and-so, let's grab another meeting, another coffee. By the way, I have had people call me out on that, and I don't hide it at all. Like my good friend Joey Davenport laughs. He's like, I know when I come up on your reminder list, I know that about every 3 months I'm going to get a call from D Fish. And I'm like, yeah, you have a problem with that? He's like, no, I love it, because then we actually get together. He knows that he doesn't have to worry about it. I'm going to be on my game. So do that. Just have like a very simple, you put it in your Outlook, put it in your Google Calendar, whatever reminder platform you use, and take some quick notes. Again, a sentence. Hey, this is what he's working on. This is what she mentioned as an issue that she could use some support in, so that you can go back and reference that instead of having to remember it all in your head, because that can be tough. So have a very simple way that you can continue to follow up with people. I kind of make the joke that networking is a lifestyle choice. And it is. You have to be willing to commit to it over time. And what's exciting about it, and why I started with that idea of, the best time to start your networking efforts is 10 years ago, is that when you do, create that social capital over time, it's so much easier to leverage your network. There's people where, I've known them now, and these are not, I wouldn't call them best friends or anything like that, but I would call them friends. I actually jokingly with my wife call them my friends, my friend clients, because there's people that, we work together and then we just continue to have conversations, and, I continue to have a cup of coffee, or, if we know each other well enough, a beer together. My wife gets mad that I can have beers, and that's working. And then she gets really mad when it actually brings in business and new opportunities. I'm like, see, I got to go have a beer. But you have to invest in the time. You can't just go, oh, I need something now, I'm going to invest. And that gets to the second thing that I wanted to touch on today about how to leverage networking. So when we looked at the 7 steps of a good one-on-one conversation, when you're networking, number 7 was the next step. Number 6 was ask. And by the way, it came after number 5, which was ask how you can help them, right? So I think you always want to lead with, how can I be of service? And be genuine with that. If you're not going to be genuine, don't offer. And also maybe just check if networking is a great way to really build your business or your career, because networking works when you give first. There's networking karma. But number 6 was ask. And so one of the things I've seen a lot of people really fail to understand is that to be successful with networking and building relationships, yes, there is the give, right? So the offer of help, but there's nothing wrong then with asking for help. One of the mistakes is just sitting there and thinking, well, I'll just build a good relationship with somebody, and then they'll just know how, when, why, where, who to help me, right? I'm just going to let them do the work. That couldn't be farthest from the truth. There is absolutely nothing wrong if you have built that relationship to then say, hey, would you introduce me to so-and-so? You mentioned you work with company XYZ. That would actually be a great introduction for me. They could be a good client. Or, I'm looking for a job in this area. I know that you know a lot of people in this organization. Is there someone you could introduce me to there? There's nothing wrong with asking. And the reason I say that is the people that kind of ruin it for all of us are not the ones that are on the call. They're the ones who ask too much. They're the ones who just don't build the relationship and then have the ask, right? Who I still remember meeting a mortgage broker at a networking event years ago, and they're just like, within 5 minutes, we're like, oh, do you know anybody who's buying a house, or have you considered buying or selling soon? I'm like, dude, you don't relax. You don't know me. I don't know you. That was a little inappropriate. And of course I wasn't going to refer to him. I was like, I don't know. I don't like you. We don't want to be that person, right? And we're usually too concerned that we are. And so we don't ask at all. I don't think there's a single person who's on this, in the session right now who fits in that. Because I had a mentor tell me early on in the sales world, if you worry about being pushy, you can't be pushy. So as long as you're like, folks like, hey, I don't want to be pushy, you're not going to do it. But you still have to ask. And I know for myself that there's so many times that I have conversations with people that I'd love to help them, but I don't know how. And I actually love when people say, hey, David, could you introduce me to so-and-so? Or, hey, D, I know that I saw you engage with this person on LinkedIn. Is there a possibility that you could introduce me to them? I mean, I had this happen in person where I was at this big network, not big, but there's about 25 people at this networking event. I'm talking with one person and they're like, oh, I think you know that person that you were talking with before, right? And I go, yeah, actually we do business together. I know them really well. And they're like, can you introduce me? I'm like, yeah. And so I did. They had a great conversation. Like, I love doing that. And the people that want to help you too, but you have to ask them for it. So here's the thing about asking. Be specific, be clear, make it easy, and give them an out. So don't just say, hey, if you run into somebody who could maybe hire me or could be a client, that's tough. That's not specific enough. Be like, I'm looking for this. If you know this person or this type of individual or there's this opportunity, that's what I'm looking for. The more specific you are, the more clear you are, the easier it is for them to help. And then, give them an out as well. Like say, hey, if you don't know anybody, that's okay. Or if, hey, I saw that you were connected with so-and-so on LinkedIn. Could you introduce us? Or by the way, if you don't know them that well, because that happens on LinkedIn, no worries. Give them an out, make it easy for them to say no, because you're asking for a favor. But again, don't hesitate to ask if you've put the time, energy, and effort into that relationship. You've earned the right to do that. And that's maybe kind of the test you can use is like, do I feel like I've earned the right to do that? Have I invested in the relationship? Have I tried to, help them? Have I put enough good networking karma out into the world? And if I have, then yeah, that's cool. I'll go ahead and ask for that help. So those are the two things I wanted to share today, because it's been great talking about online networking and using these tools that we have available to us to not be stuck just sitting at home binging Netflix or something like that. This is still a great time to get business done, to, again, start relationships. If there's people that you don't know that you'd like to, maybe somebody that you're seeing post a lot on your LinkedIn newsfeed or that knows somebody that that is a second level connection. Hey, reach out to them. We talked about that on Tuesday, how to do that. Oh, and that reminds me, all of the LinkedIn Live sessions have been recorded. You can actually find them through my LinkedIn newsfeed, but they're also all on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. I'll be sure to post a link to that playlist so you can see everything that we've covered this week. But, reach out to people. Use this time. The other thing I would suggest is think about the people that you met 3, 5, 7, 10 years ago and haven't had a lot of engagement with them yet. Maybe a past coworker, somebody that you already, there's a relationship there. Go kind of, spin that back up. Say, hey, you know what? It's been 5 years. Would love to catch up. You know, there's people that you spent a lot of time with 5 years ago, like a past coworker that maybe you just haven't talked to for a while. Check in with them. It's a great way of again, establishing that human connection, but also you'll find some really cool opportunities that come from it. I appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day today. And some of you I know have been joining throughout the week. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to not only join us, but also I know a lot of you have been sharing it with your networks. I said, please tell everybody about our LinkedIn Lives that are going to be next week, where we really talk about what to post, how to post it, you know, whether it's your own content or curated content. I'm really excited about sharing that because I've had a ton of questions about it. If you have any other questions for me, or if you want to get some more information about all this kind of good stuff, I have a blog, davidjpfisher.com/blog. It's pretty on the nose. There are over, I think, 300 articles there. I've got a problem. I write a little too much. But whether it's general networking, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's how to use all these tools to sell, there's a bunch of information there. I do also have a newsletter that comes out every week. So that features some of the best tips and tools that I have. If you'd like to be on that newsletter, just shoot me a message, and I'll be happy to get you on that list. Hey, Adam, by the way, I got your message. Zoom is probably the answer that you're looking for, but I'll try to give you a call or email you later today. Man, I love this. The offline, online world just coming together. But the last thing I'll say is it's been a long week. I don't know about you, but I've got a whole bunch of people in this household. You've got, Liam here all the time. He's cute when he's not crying. But I'm sure that in your house, it's been a long week. Next week will probably be another long week. We got to keep people safe. There's some really scary things happening out there, but we can each do our part, even if that means, sitting on our couch this weekend. So as I'm telling everybody, be patient with each other, especially as we have more and more days in cooped up circumstances. Be patient, be kind with yourself and with others, and, take care of each other. All right. So thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. And that's all I got. Thanks. Bye.